Pitch BrandTalk. Today we have a brand that started in 1924 as a restaurant. Unfortunately, when the restaurant saw tough times, the founders pivoted and then pivoted in such a way that today this company is known throughout India and is one of the most loved brands in the FMCG sector in India. The brand is MTR. And I have with me today Anupam Nair. He is the Chief Marketing Officer at MTR. Anupam, hi.
Hi Simran, really happy to be here.
Anupam, I just want to start off first with you've got a wide portfolio. You've got the spices and masala, a breakfast range, ready to eat, sweets and sweet mixes, badam milk mixes, vermicelli. But among the entire portfolio, which are the categories that are driving growth for the company, that specifically MTR?
So each category has a role. Each category has a specific geography within which it performs. If you come to spices and masalas, obviously our core markets are Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Those are the real heavy lifters as far as spices and masalas are concerned. Within spices and masalas, we play a very wide portfolio. We've got sambar, we've got puliogare, we've got rasam, we've got bisibelebath, wangi bath. So the host of products that are tailored for Karnataka and AP markets. When it comes to foods outside of the spices and masalas, obviously we play quite a few categories that you mentioned. Among them, chief being breakfast mixes. Widely, we were the creators of the category, and today it is consumed across all of India, not just in South. In fact, North happens to be one of our biggest markets as far as breakfast mixes is concerned. The next one would be the sweets category, where we have the much loved gulab jamun mix, which is loved by everybody down south, especially TN from, I believe you're from Chennai. It's a hugely loved product, and I don't think any Diwali is complete without gulab jamuns from MTR. Within sweets, we have also seen innovations from our end. The ready-to-eat sweets portfolio, led by Karnataka favorites like Mysore Pak, which are loved across India, globally, in fact. We've got Mysore Pak that we've launched about a couple of years ago. That's done especially well for us. So, yeah, depending on the category, depending on the geography, we've got power brands all across the categories.
Now, I just, MTR is today a 102-year-old company. Very few companies in India can say that. As a marketer, what's the challenge in ensuring that the brand has, stays relevant today,
Yeah,
particularly with, say, the Gen Z?
yeah. Interesting question. What we get out of the 102-year-old legacy is trust. No company can survive for this long if the consumers don't really love you. And I think what MTR and all the custodians of the brand over these decades or the century, what they have managed to do is build consumer love that we continuously work upon. As a marketing professional, as a brand custodian, I realize the responsibility that we have towards our consumers. And that's the first step. The first step is that we are already loved. Now, staying relevant to the question that you raised about relevance, I think evolution is very important. People still eat sambar. It's not that they stopped eating sambar. The way they eat sambar, the way I give them sambar so that it suits their daily lives, whether it is related to lack of skill or lack of time, is where a brand needs to find resonance with the consumers. That's what MTR has done, I think, beautifully over these decades. So if you look at idli, earlier we had introduced the breakfast mixes with the idli mix, and you could make a wonderful idli. Today in Bangalore and in Hyderabad, we have batter, idli batter. So it's an even easier movement for the consumers to make idli today. So what we have done to stay relevant is evolved with the consumer, understanding his needs or her needs, and made sure that we have an evolution of the portfolio happening. Right? That's what we've essentially done as far as our hero product portfolio is concerned. Coming to Gen Z, you raised the point about being relevant with Gen Z. If you look at a 3-minute portfolio, which is essentially, say, poha, upma, etc., where the youngsters of today find lack of time being one of the biggest challenges, especially for breakfast. Having a product like a 3-minute poha where all you need to do is peel open the cup, pour some hot water, wait for 3 minutes, and poha is ready. So these kind of products allow us to find the rightful place as far as their pantry is concerned, and therefore we have built relevance for ourselves along with the legacy that we already enjoy.
So when you mentioned this 3 minute proposition. So the USP today, convenience rules above everything else. Convenience rules above. So what's your marketing communication? Because you mentioned it's to the younger generation. So how
Hmm.
do you tailor this proposition of 3 minute breakfast to the Gen Zs? Because don't forget, when we grew up, it was just 2 minute noodles. But let's set that aside. So, and breakfast is a meal which a lot of people also tend to skip in the hustle bustle in the morning. So, how does your communication evolve when it comes to this 3 minute proposition for breakfast?
So, one thing that the team has done wonderfully well over the years at MTR is keeping our communication extremely direct, extremely comprehension friendly. So, when I say our brand is called 3 Minute Breakfast, I am already providing you the solution in the name of the sub brand, right? MTR 3 Minute Breakfast. It tells you your breakfast is ready in 3 minutes. And like you said, rightly said, a lot of the youngsters skip breakfast today. And therefore, if I can offer you a breakfast in 3 minutes, would you consider having breakfast? Is the essential question that MTR is asking, and allowing you to therefore have a wonderful breakfast in 3 minutes. And if you have had the poha or the veggie upma, you would testify to the fact that it is really tasty. So, one is the brand name solves for communication. The other is where do we speak to them? Largely, Gen Z today is on digital. All the communication that they see or interact with is largely digital. Accordingly, we have moved all our communication or advertising spends on a brand like 3 Minute onto digital. Every communication that we do is led by digital and digital alone. The other is the youngsters or the Gen Zs of today are very high on experience, right? And therefore, when they interact with the brand experientially and it's food at the end of the day, it helps you build that connect far stronger. And over the years, we have, as 3 Minute, we have collaborated on multiple occasions with properties like Comic Con, which where you find the Gen Zs today attending these kind of shows. So therefore, the brand name itself, the digital communication, along with the experiential marketing, is where we are able to capture the attention of the Gen Zs and drive relevance for them with the product.
So that means for the 3 minute, the entire portfolio is totally digital and experiential.
That's right. It's right.
But what
That's
about your wider portfolio? If you were to, give me an idea how that has evolved, because let's face it, 5 years back, quick commerce was not so big. Now,
right.
quick commerce and retail media, particularly quick commerce for a sector like yours, has literally become very important and critical for you, and
Yeah.
even e-commerce. So
Yeah.
overall, when you look at it, how much of your spends, what's been the reallocation of budgets, say, in the last 2-3 years?
You're right about this. Maybe pre-COVID versus post-COVID, the world has totally seen a shift as far as consumption behavior is concerned, and that has also seeped into your how do you consume media is concerned, right? For us at Orkla India as a whole, almost 40% of our communication is now digital. Compared to earlier, maybe 6-7 years ago, it would have been very, very marginal. Compared to that, it's now at 40%. And like I said, depending on the category that you are playing in, that may further shift. So, for instance, a brand like 3 Minute Breakfast may have 100% of its spends on digital. But for a brand like, say, Sambar or Rasam, where we are going deeper down pop strata as far as our core markets are concerned, TV still plays the lead medium. But TV is not the only medium. What would have been TV as the lead medium and the only medium maybe a decade ago has become TV plus digital. And the digital part of you gives you incremental reach today, not that you're only supplementing it to reach the same consumer. Homemakers in Karnataka or AP today browse and look at YouTube as much as they look at TV today, looking for new recipes and stuff like that. And therefore, it is critical even for the homemaker today, for us to connect with the homemaker today to have significant digital presence. So that's where the shift has been. And like you said, e-commerce with all the performance marketing work that we do across all media, it is critical that we build our digital presence strongly. And we've been working on it like most other brands, but we've made sure that we made that change. Humor has evolved.
So CTV also comes under your digital spends, or is that comes under your TV and retail media also is put under digital?
No, so CTV comes under digital spends
Television.
only because you
Okay,
need the digital
sure.
penetration for OTTs to be penetrated. Yeah.
And the other thing also I wanted to know is particularly, when it comes to your breakfast and ready to eat range, what is your TG? Is this primarily tier one and metros, or are you seeing the pickup also in the smaller towns?
So breakfast mixes largely it used to be led by metros, but with e-commerce coming in and with quick com platforms penetrating lower into other cities, it has allowed us to penetrate deeper into the towns which earlier would have been difficult for me to penetrate through. And that's, I think, been the biggest opener as far as business is concerned for a lot of the brands, including us. As quick com deepens their reach, when they carry a portfolio, and no breakfast mix portfolio can be complete without an MTR breakfast mix portfolio, it allows us to reach consumers far easily, far more frequently. And then we obviously have to build on that to make it into a habit, get them to try our products, make sure that awareness levels go up. So, working in tandem with their reach, we've been able to build these categories further, going beyond metros.
I have a two-part question. Omnichannel is key today, being present across all touch points.
Yeah.
But what is the challenge that you face, particularly when it comes to consistency in messaging and any other challenge throughout this omnichannel part with this omni-channel strategy? And the second part is, as a marketer, while NPR has a big brand recall, right, across the country or particularly in the South, as a marketer, what is the channel when it comes to the final leg from consideration to conversion? And what is the kind of nudge that, you look to, push the consumer towards NPR vis-a-vis your competition?
Hmm. So the first question was with respect to sorry, the first question was with respect to which part?
To
Sorry.
omni-channel
Omnichannel. So
strategy.
on messaging on omnichannel, see, the consumer is the same. He may visit today a Kirana store. In the night, if he is run out of something and he wants to order, he may order it on a quick com platform. So it is very critical for marketers to ensure that our messaging stays consistent across the three channels. Our messaging, whether it is on Sambar or it is on 3 Minute or it is on any other product category, it doesn't change because we are inherently aware that the consumer is the same, and the promise that we are making, the proposition that we are building on each product has to be the same. You can't communicate two different things on two different platforms. So from that point of view, I don't think there is any major change as far as we are concerned. You may adapt the creatives to work better. You may make it on TV, you may have a 30-second film to build it, but on a quick com platform, you may have only 6 seconds to build your proposition. But
Right.
the messaging stays the same. What the way mechanics of it may change a little bit, but the messaging doesn't change. So I think that's the first part of it. The other is, as we go down the funnel, how do we work at consideration and conversion? Performance marketing is something that has really come into its own over the last 2, 3, 4 years, maybe. It didn't probably exist a decade ago. And a lot of experiments have been run. For us, since there are two core markets in Karnataka and AP, and then the rest of India as far as convenience foods is concerned, we are using performance marketing and a lot of work that we do with our agency partners to experiment our way through it. To be honest, the evolution is so quick that I think a lot of the people don't really know what works, what doesn't work unless you try. And that's been our strategy too. I think it's best to quickly execute something, learn from it, get the learnings, execute it in your second phase, and then scale it up. That's what we've done. If you look at something like MTR Minute Fresh Batters, which is the idli batter, dosa batter, which we had launched in Bangalore about 3, 4 years ago, since it's one geography, it allows us to really try something because you don't spend a lot in within one geography, but your learnings can be immense. And I think that's what we've done along with our agency partners, whether it is creative or media, to learn our way through it and then build it at scale as we apply it to the other categories.
Any learning you can mention that learning that you can mention right now that you learned in the initial phases and then help scale, like you mentioned?
So very, very basic things like the attention spans are really low, right? I think if I make a
Mm.
10-second of film or a 15-second of film, even then the attention spans don't last the entire 15 seconds. So you need to get your brand in very early. You need to make sure that your brand finds a space within the first 2-3 seconds so that at least that gets through into the consumer's heads. That we have to ensure that we do, and that's something that we try and build into most of our creatives. The other is breaking clutter, which anyway used to be true even in your TV days, but I think it's become even more important now
Difficult.
because you are. I don't think there is any moment where anybody is giving you your full attention, right? Even when you are on one screen, the other screen chimes and you are looking at the other screen. So the intensity of needing something that breaks clutter, that allows you to get your message across in a new different manner, is even more important now than it has ever been. And I think those are the two things that we try and build into every creative that we have worked on.
You mentioned performance marketing and the importance of Q-commerce. If you could just give me an idea what percentage of your sales is then coming from quick commerce slash e-commerce vis-a-vis modern trade, vis-a-vis general trade.
So general trade still continues to be the bulk of the sale. No matter how fast the other categories grow, general trade still is
True.
the heart of our business. Quick commerce of late has seen massive growth. Year on year, the growths are really high double-digit growths. Today at Orkla India, about 8 to 9% of our sale comes from digital alone, and that maybe 5, 6 years ago would have been a 1 or 2%, right? And in a market and in an organization that is growing at the speed at which we are growing, 9% is significant for us. Yeah.
Now, I just want to come to the category as a whole, right? Spices is integral to Indian cuisine. But while we have a brand like MTR, Everest, and MDH, which is known nationally, and they're well distribution, the distribution is also very strong.
Yeah.
There is no one such national brand per se, right? Because even then, MDR and Everest is stronger in the north. In You go to the east, you have Sunrise. You go to the west. Ramdev is very strong in Gujarat. You come to south, it's MTR, Archie, Shakti. So, what do you think? Is there an opportunity for MTR to become a truly national brand, or is it because our taste buds are so different? Because you mentioned sambar earlier on in the interview. Now, the sambar you get in Tamil Nadu is different from Kerala. It is very different from the one in Karnataka, and also Andhra has a different variant. Is that kind of an inhibiting factor to build a truly national brand when it comes in this category? Or will it remain that regional is the might? Regional brands will rule the might.
Very interesting question, and partly answered by you. See, the thing is that food changes every few kilometers in India, maybe 100 odd kilometers, the taste changes completely. Like you mentioned, sambar in Tamil Nadu is totally different from the sambar in Kerala, is totally different from the sambar in Karnataka. Within Karnataka itself, the sambar changes. Karnataka is a massive state. The sambar that you have in, say, Bangalore and Mysore is totally different from the sambar that people have down by the coast of, say, Udupi or Mangalore, right? And
Okay.
therefore, the reason why nobody has been able to build a national scale brand is because tastes change and food is intrinsic to us, right? We've grown up eating a certain kind of chili. That chili becomes core to who we are, right? So if you look
Sure.
at Karnataka, Bedgi is the chili that is grown in Karnataka, which is very high on color but low on heat, as opposed to, say, Guntur, which is very low on color but very high on heat.
High on heat.
And therefore, you would see in the food that is prepared in AP is largely considered more spicy. Whereas the food, even if you have it, say, Mangalore, and you have a ghee roast, the ghee roast looks fiery, but the taste is mild. That's because it's made with Bedgi
Correct.
chili. And therefore, the travel that you make within the state itself changes the food habits, and what is grown in that region becomes part of who you grew up with. And therefore, when we look at our market and we look at growing our business, what we are attempting to do is take South Indian cuisine in these cases to rest of India. For instance, sambar is loved by everybody, right? But nobody gives
Correct.
them authentic sambar. But MTR can give
Sambar
you
powder.
sambar.
Correct.
Or talk about idli or talk about dosa. Everybody loves an idli dosa. Can I make it for you in a manner that is easy for you to have it and therefore you can enjoy the best of South Indian cuisine in the rest of India portfolio.
You kind of preempted my next question. You are in a way the face of South Indian food nationally, okay? Because you mentioned sambar, rasam, your puliyogare, your lemon rice, etc. But what stood out was also chana masala, which I found. So, are you looking, while we're talking about regional, are you looking to also now launch products which is very region specific, like chana masala, or maybe something from the west or east, which is specific to that area and could then, probably well known throughout India. Like you said, sambar in the south, people in the north may love it. So, vice versa, are you looking to do that? And is chana masala the first step?
Not necessarily. Actually, if you look at our portfolio of MTR minute meals, we have a wide range of portfolio there. Where you've got, say, chana masala, you've got paneer butter masala, you've got rajma rice. So you've got a lot of products within minute meals, which are essentially today used by a lot of people who travel abroad and want to have
Correct.
Indian food, right? So a lot of these also cater to that segment. The other way to look at it is that today food is traveling, right? People travel, and when they come back, they want to eat the food that they ate elsewhere. For instance, a Kannadiga may travel to Delhi and may love chana masala. When he comes back, he wants to have chana masala, but he doesn't know how to make it. Therefore, it is, as a brand, I find space in getting them to enjoy the best of cuisines that they have had elsewhere. So that's the other role that MTR plays as far as democratizing food is concerned for Indians.
Now, coming to the one topic which everybody's speaking about, AI. So, how has AI evolved in your marketing? The first, obviously, one is content.
Yeah.
So AI has reduced the speed at which you take out your creatives. But in addition to content, what are the other ways that you are using AI when it comes to marketing in terms of data or even media planning? How do you currently using, and how do you foresee the future, in the future, how you will adapt AI to your marketing?
Yeah. So, like you said, AI is everywhere, and I don't think there can be a sphere where AI will not make its presence felt. As far as we are concerned, like you said, content creation is one critical area where AI has been adopted. A lot of the creators today are generated by AI, and that's the first. Now, what does that allow us to do? It allows us to hit the market much faster with a lot more content. You don't need to shoot a lot of the content today because you have the support of an AI tool. Where else are we utilizing it? I think as marketers, a lot of our work, a lot of our time is spent in consumer research. And when you meet consumers, you can today use AI to create very, very strong queries that a consumer can respond to, right? Supposing I'm making an advertisement, I could today make it in an AI format, show it to them so that it will feel almost real for them to respond to and give me feedback on what it is. Earlier, I would have had to read it out to them. And today, that difference between reading out versus a visual stimulus is allowing me to make sharper decisions, my team to make sharper decisions. The third is, as far as products are concerned, if I'm doing a product test, today I can make a packaging design in maybe, say, 5 minutes. A broad packaging design of a product, new product that I want to test with consumers. Get their feedback on what they feel when they see this design. Does this design work for you? And therefore, all of these are spheres in which earlier it used to take us a lot of time to build these. And a lot of iterations to perfect these. I think today those times have been really, really crunched. And as marketers, it really helps because you are able to take a lot more to the consumer, take the feedback, tweak it, go back to the consumer very quickly. I think those are all spheres that we are already working on as far as AI is
Can
concerned.
you can you just share? You mentioned the packaging example, but any insight which came out while you were applying AI that kind of surprised you, which then led to you tweaking your campaign or your marketing process? Any insight that you picked up?
No, so see, supposing so we have a product called MTR Minute Fresh Sambar Paste, which is a fresh sambar paste, which lasts for say about 2-3 weeks only, and we were not able to coin the name of the product because there's so much to explain. There is cooked dal and tadka in it, and the product name. What should the product name be? Now, when I'm using AI, I can make 5 different packs. It doesn't take me more than 5 minutes. Make 5 different packs, place it with the consumer, get their feedback on which one works, right? So things like that have been made far easier today because you have AI as a tool. Then a pack can be made to look exactly like it would be if they cleared it, and I can just go to market with that as a proposition.
So basically, consumer feedback is something which has helped
Yeah.
increase your interactions. And finally, looking ahead, what can we expect from MTR and Orkla India?
Um, so it's a very, very busy year for us. Like you mentioned, consumers today are increasingly demanding a lot from the brands, right? And the marketplaces have become extremely cluttered. If you look at the food space, especially with the emergence of quick com, you are seeing a lot more brands. MTR is ensuring that we stay ahead of that curve, right? We've been the pioneers as far as innovation is concerned in the Indian FMCG space. If you look at Rava Idli, we were the inventors of Rava Idli. If you look at the 3 minute portfolio, we were the ones who created it. So there is a lot that we pride ourselves on as far as innovations is concerned. So one part of our core task is to drive that innovation funnel continuously as the consumer is evolving, as they demand more. It is imperative that we stay ahead of that curve. An example of that being MTR Prakriti, where we are seeing the increasing trend of consumers seeking what is the source of the product that you're selling us, what is the
Correct,
provenance of these products, right? So MTR
correct.
Prakriti is a set of spices that we have launched where they are handpicked, where they are made in small batches, and they are sourced from only single place. So we've got MTR Bedgi chili, we've got a Guntur chili, we've got Kumbraj coriander, we've got Araku turmeric. All of these are grown only in these places. We are sourcing it directly from them and packaging and giving it to the consumer to ensure that experience of what they demand, a premium experience of a single source spice, right? That's something that is big for us, and we are building that as we speak. And the other part is obviously we are a huge brand as far as AP and Karnataka and South is concerned. A large part of our task is to continue driving conversion from loose spices to branded spices. And as market leaders, it is our core task to continuously do that. And with our portfolio led by say chili, sambar, rasam, we are continuously working on that, making sure that our reach is deeper. We go to as villages as small as say 3,000 people villages, population villages. So that's the other core task: growing your core in your core markets as well as innovating for the discerning consumers of India.
So expanding your market reach, deeper penetration, innovation is what we can look forward to from India. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Anupam, for your time.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking to you, Simran.